Hello guys, Zach here once again, and today we've got a deathmatch game, but this is no regular deathmatch game. This, my friends, is going to be absolutely insane, I'm sure of it. I've not watched this recording, but from the description, I was like, my god, I have to watch this. It sounds so cool. And you may be wondering what it is. Well, it's actually a 4 versus 4 on a tiny Arabia map as Goths. And we all know what that means. That means extremely fast creating infantry and extremely just craziness. That's all it's going to be, I'm sure of it. And so let's just see who we've got playing today. They're all playing as Goths, just bear that in mind. And this is the POV of purple player here, Chizard, who I've actually played with recently. He's actually pretty darn good, rated 1.8k, I do believe. I think it's a little bit, oh no, it's okay actually. I thought he was sandwiched between two enemies. Okay, so on his team we have, in red, Honda Coach, which is up to the right hand side of the map. I don't know if this is actually Honda, but if it is, then he is a 2k 1900 player. To the left of him, in yellow, Amazing Grace, another one of those 2kers, up to the top of the map. And their final teammate, if I can just work it out, is green here. Yeah, don't go away, not sure who this is. So yellow and red are pocket players, purple and green are flank, and on the opposing team we've got teal, JJ Mao, I'm not sure who this is. Orange on pocket, who is Firestorm, again not 100% sure. Grey in another pocket, Ultra, and blue, who is Runaway, and he is on the flank. And this is going to be pretty messy, I believe. I don't know how long this game is going to be, but I can guarantee you it's going to be messy, and I've pretty much got no idea what is going on already. But let's just have a quick look. It looks like on the left hand side, yeah, green's having a little bit of a hard time. The problem with deathmatch is if you lose your starting villagers, you can be really delayed. As you can see now, green has only actually got 2-3 barracks up even at the moment. And he is relying very heavily on his teammate, Amazing Grace, who is spamming in the champions and the Huskarls into teal right here. And orange is helping him out, but not at the rate that yellow is. Yellow is pretty much 2v1ing teal and orange right here on the left. If you can hold him off for long enough, then green will be able to create a few more villagers and get up another barracks or two, and of course more houses. I think with Goths is that they need so many houses to support their huge population, and this is absolutely insane. It's already, all these guys are already spreading all over the map. Town centers coming out on their gold, which of course makes sense. Siege workshops coming out for yellow as well, and he's starting to bring in the heavy scorpions, which is of course an awesome choice to make. Looks like teal is going to be doing the same very soon, and putting a castle on this hill to help push their advantage and prevent green from building any closer, which is a very nice strategy to use indeed. Town center going up at the back for green if he remembers to build it, and he still only actually has 4 barracks, so he's 5 barracks now. So his military production is going to be a very challenged. And let's see what we've got over on the right hand side. Well, Chizard and Honda Coach over here, Honda I'll just call him, I believe it is Honda, doing a pretty good job. 4 castles going up right here, and so they are going to be really using this as a springboard to attack from. I don't know why yeah, Grey is actually making some there we go, Cavaliers right there. I suppose they could be effective, but blue is really looking to be struggling in this situation. They are really pushing down, and I've got to say, these guys probably neck and neck at the moment, though this is getting extremely messy. I'm struggling to keep up with exactly what is going on the map. We've got like 4 guys just battling it out right here. Purple and red on this side versus grey and blue, and grey now bringing in these onages and heavy scorpions, which is going to be a real challenge to deal with. I think that's probably why he's got the cavalier to help deal with the heavy scorpions. Heavy cavalry do deal with siege weaponry quite nicely indeed, but once these castles go up and the trebuchets start coming in, it's going to be very hard for grey and blue to really stop them from advancing. Over on the left hand side, and very nicely done by orange, starting to bring in some hand cannoneers. Now we all know that Goths are very infantry based, so they are starting to bring in the anti-infantry now. Green losing his castle by the looks of it, and green is pretty much out of this game, I've got to say already. This is really not so good for him at all. He is actually rebuilding at the back of yellow's base, and they are putting up markets right here, but they've got to keep this area safe, because if they don't, they will lose their trade, and that could be very, very hard for them to come back from. Teal just taking green's gold right here. Nice play by him. He's going to have plenty of gold to keep him going in the long run. Yellow going to have to put up an awesome defense right here. He is going to indeed have a hard time going 2v1 in this location. Trying to secure the middle gold here as well with some units from yellow. And wow, this is just... yeah, it's so hard to see what is going on. Purple and red doing a nice job on the right, though. They are actually starting to push these guys back. Sorry if it's a little bit laggy. There's probably about 1,000 units on the screen right now, and just projectiles firing everywhere. If you wanted mad, this is exactly what you were looking for. These castles here, there's now 5 up. These are going to be very defensive for them, and they probably will be able to push these guys back in this location. But on the left, it's not looking so good at all. Yellow is putting up a monster defense, but I've got to say, teal and orange are probably going to be too much for him to deal with at once. Now, green is having to rebuild at the back, and it's going to be a little while before he really can start pumping out a lot more units. He's only got 1 villager by the looks of it, and that is not good for him at all. Blue starting to rebuild in the center of orange's base, just to keep himself safe, as his base is starting to be gutted on the right hand side. These guys pushing forwards, so you know, we've got purple and red pushing forwards on the right, teal and orange pushing forwards on the left, but I've got to say teal and orange are looking to be a lot more further in, and if they do get in too far, then it's going to be really hard for these guys to start trading, and the gold that they get is going to be extremely hard to keep safe. So you might not want to invest in trade carts just yet if they know they're going to go to waste, so they've really got to keep this area safe, and it's going to be very hard judging by the amount of units that orange and teal have got running at yellow right now. Over on the right, though, they're still pushing forwards and throwing up another castle there, and perhaps they will actually be able to take out the trade of these guys if it ever gets up, that is. No one is actually starting to make any trade units just yet, trying to find whatever little space they can to actually farm. In fact, purple is making some trade up to yellow over here. Just whether it stays safe is the big question. The guys in the center, though, are managing to just cram whatever they can into their bases, still managing to farm, still managing to collect gold, and I imagine the resources on this map are going to be depleted very quickly indeed. And back over on the left hand side, we've got purple and red still pushing forwards, but I've got to say they've lost a little bit of momentum right now. This is usually the stage in the deathmatch where the lull begins, where gold starts to run out and trade starts to be invested in. As we look at all of these guys, I imagine they'll all have very little gold. I say that Firestorm has got a lot of gold actually, and he is still continuing to push forwards. And yeah, I've got to say that their gold counts are looking pretty low, although saying that, green has so much gold still, he's just not being able to spend it. He really needs to get his population back up. Of course, playing on a tiny map has one large problem with Goths, is that how are you going to get up to your population limit? There's no room for houses, though Chizard here in purple is doing a pretty darn good job of that. He is got all the houses he needs, he's just not got the population for it, but they are definitely holding blue and grey off on the right hand side, even having to delete houses and stuff to let units past. And this gold is not even going to be collected from, even though they've castled it. There's gold in the middle that needs taking very shortly, but they're going to have to really start pushing forwards more. Nice attack coming in from orange in the center here, taking out what little stuff green did have left, and if he manages to push through the middle and catch them off guard, then their ecos could be very well screwed. And this map is very open, so it could be the case that they get caught off guard in this case. And these castles actually from Honda are actually starting to go down now. He's got grey attacking him on the left, and they're still pushing forwards against blue on the right. Sorry about that, guys. I just got distracted very momentarily. As I was saying, yeah, I don't think it's going to be enough to hold blue back in this situation. Bear in mind, in the centre as well, we've got grey and orange continuing to push forwards and pick away at these castles. So if these castles do go down, it's going to be very hard for purple to actually hold these guys off on the right hand side here, and it's only a matter of time, I think, until they start whittling them down. Especially with these bombard cannons coming in, they can do quite a bit of damage to the scorpions here as well. Over on the left hand side, we have got teal and orange still continuing to push forwards. And I've got to say, it's really not looking so good for yellow and green right now. They are going to be having a very tough time over on this side, as well as the fact that the trade is just behind this castle here. So when that does go down, if it does go down, I imagine it will with the amount of trebuchets Teal has got here, it's going to be really hard for those guys to actually protect their trade, which is going to be so vital. I don't even think the other team is trading that much just yet, but I imagine they will start to get some more trade going very shortly. The thing with Goths to remember though is that as they are mainly infantry based civilization, they can't really just run in and take the trade out from behind. That would just not work, as the infantry is very slow moving indeed. Red suiciding most of his units right there to Grey's Scorpions, and I've got to say it's looking very messy at the moment, but on this side of the map, Purple is doing a pretty good job of continuing to push forwards. However, the left-hand side does look to be lost. There is just a... I can't even think of a word to describe that. It's just absolutely insane. And now the Huskarls starting to come in as well. Finally, Green has actually got some Huskarls out. He can actually start to use some of his units to do some damage at long last. I imagine he has lost way too many at the moment though. Yellow pushing forwards, really strange, moving out with these trebuchets. That's probably a misclick, I don't know. Either that or he's just trying to buy them some time so that they can actually save their trade. But obviously if they do lose their trade, it could be game over. There is no real way that they're going to get much gold in at this point. All the gold on the map is pretty much fully saturated, and I imagine, actually, you know, saying that yellow, orange, not orange, red here, it's actually got quite a bit of gold. I mean, there is a lot of gold around, but look at it, it's all very heavily saturated, and it won't be long until it all runs out. Got to bear in mind that Teal and Orange are going to continue to push forwards here. They've got a lot of siege backing it up, a lot of hand cannoneers as well. On the right, though, I have just noticed the blue is starting to lose ground, it seems, but I think Purple here is starting to lose some steam, as their attention is focused now more in the center of the map to push through the middle and try and break them where they haven't built so many castles in defense. Of course, there are a lot of castles over here, but not so many in the center. So if they do manage to push forwards and take out the center of the map, then they could still be in with a fighting chance of staying in this game. Teal and Orange, though, just holding ground on the left. I think it is only really a matter of time until these guys break forwards and start to take out the trade. As I say, trade at this stage is going to be very vital to who wins the game. A lot of wood being collected also for some reason. They don't really have that much room for farms, let's be honest. There isn't that much room at all to make farms, and there is going to be a lot of obstruction of the trade with houses and the like, so it's going to be very hard to actually get the trade up and running even so. And once this gold runs out on the map, there is going to be a bit of a lull, I believe, while they may even turn to trash just to keep unit numbers high. Let's see how these guys are continuing to do on the left-hand side. Still looks to me like yellow is being pushed back. There's too much siege there, and Teal coming forward with some villagers. Could be looking to build a castle right on the front. There we go. Another castle right on the front there. He could have done it a bit closer, to be honest with you, and he probably would have got away with that. And for the time being, yellow and green just holding on. They are really going to be struggling for gold soon, though. The amount of trebuchets they are making and the amount of castles they're having to build in defense here, really desperately trying to hold on that side. In the center, though, they are pushing forwards. We've got purple and red just starting to push forwards here. Going to lose quite a few trebuchets as well by looks of things, as their units start to just spread out across the map. Grey desperately trying to take some gold here. It looks like he may be able to get quite a bit actually if they can continue to hold red and purple off in the center. Purple actually losing some ground, it seems, on the left here. Blue has actually built 2 or 3 here, actually 3 castles forwards, and purple is starting to lose ground. He doesn't actually have that many units at all, just a lot of scorpions and not much military, well, infantry even, which is not so great for them. Green coming forwards at last with some Huskarls, but they are probably going to get killed off quickly. And I've got to say, it's starting to look in favour of Teal, Orange, Grey and Blue in this at this moment in time. Got to say, these guys are doing a great job of pushing forwards on the left. They are still continuing their push, and the trade carts are going to start to get taken down. And I do think Oh, wow. Nice house placement, green. Very nicely done. Just blocking the market, as you do. That wasn't very well thought out, was it? And maybe even suiciding his own team right there. That was absolutely terrible house placement. I don't know why he put it there. Nevertheless, yellow is still trying to hold on the left, pushing forward still in the center with red. And these guys are actually getting dangerously close to orange's economy, so it's definitely not game over for the other team right now. Just Xing this, I think. They've just noticed, yeah, there we go, telling him to delete the house, you fool. What are you doing? And yeah, I've got to say, it's looking pretty much like a stalemate on the right-hand side. Finally starting to take out these castles once again, but yeah. Purple there, going to lose his trebuchets. There's too many colours. I keep getting them confused. It's terrible. Oh man, this is one hell of a game, I've got to say. And blue is going to lose his castles on the front again. And if he continues to lose these castles, then he really is not going to be in a very good situation at all. And yellow saying he can't even tell which buildings are his. Yeah, I'm not surprised. There are just so many of everything around. Tiny map. It's just insane. Absolutely crazy. It looks actually to me, wow, this is interesting. It looks to me like teal and orange have actually finally lost some momentum on this side, and green and yellow are actually starting to hold them off and push back. Perhaps they are actually starting to turn the tide of this a little bit. It doesn't look to me like teal has got many units at all. They just need to push through now. And yellow is starting to gain control of the center. Red moving some trebuchets forwards as well, trying to take out these castles. Once the castles go down, of course, they can just bring all of their champions, all of their Huskarls in, and start to decimate everything in their paths. And it looks to me like purple has just lost his siege there, losing quite a lot of bombard cannons, and that's going to be a little bit unfortunate for him. Not going to be able to take out these castles for a little while. Just complaining he can't make economy, because I'm not surprised. It's going to be very hard to make economy with such little room. Teal and orange trying to push forwards once again, but I think they're going to be held off here. This is a very nice defense indeed from yellow and green. Green finally starting to rebuild. Loads of houses going up in the middle of the map because he needs room, and quite frankly he doesn't have any. Let's have a look at his population. Where is he? Don't go away. Only 90 population supported, which is really not good for him. He really needs to get more houses, and the only place he can build them is over here. And I've really got no idea how long this game might last. I'm going to speed things up just a wee bit while this stalemate is kind of broken, perhaps. It doesn't even go that fast because there are just so many units on the screen, and this is really nice. Team yellow pushing and red pushing forwards in the center, starting to get into orange's economy, and I think this is probably the first time all game that their economies have been actually threatened. This is really nice indeed. Red really pushing forwards, taking out quite a few villagers there. Not sure if orange is just suiciding them as he doesn't need eco, but I imagine he probably will need eco right now. But I've got to say, blue and grey starting to push forwards on the right now. Tides have turned, battle lines have been switched, yellow and green finally doing a good job, purple and red starting to not do so great as grey and blue have finally massed up some army and started to push forwards and really threaten red and purple's eco right now. That's quite a few champions in there, they're going to have to deal with them, and blue even taking the stone of purple here, which is very nicely done by him, really pushing forwards now, plenty of Huskarls coming in, elite scorpions, heavy scorpions coming in, and purple is going to have a hard time dealing with that many units coming into his base. I think hopefully red will be able to help him out, but he is going to be focusing a little bit on trying to take out these guys' trade. The trade is starting to get up and running now for blue, teal, orange and grey, so they are going to start to get a little bit in the lead if their trade continues. If just at a glance, it does look like they may have more trade, but it's kind of hard to say at this stage of the game. There's no way to see a summary of all players' units or stats or anything. Castle going up there for red, really nice position. If he can start to take out orange, then he'll be in a nice position, as I say. But the problem is his teammates here, purple, is starting to fall behind, and he is losing a lot of his eco. He's got pretty much no eco left at all. He's losing a lot of units. If we have a look, he only has 66 population right now, and red is going to have to defend against blue and grey at the same time, which is going to be challenging. Bear in mind that their trade is just up here as well, and there's a lot of Huskarls just coming in. They're going to have to mop this up very quickly, otherwise they're going to lose a ton of trade, and that will not be good for them. But bear in mind, red is still going to push forward, so he's been held off though. Orange has actually held him off, killing off his villagers right there, and red did not manage to get that castle up, and purple just saying to red, you need to come and deal with this. The trade is going to start to die, and once you get a long line of units spread out through your eco, blocking the trade, killing off all the trade carts, you are going to feel a lot of pain to your wallet as your gold really does start to decrease. Yellow still pushing forwards on the left though. This is really nice from him. Lots of trebuchets coming in from green as well, taking out all the town centres, all the farms, everything that teal has got that he holds dear. And if they continue to push forwards, they've still got a good 6-7 castles there, and red actually saying that this is probably GG. I've got to say, it's not looking so good now that blue is right into their ecos with these Huskarls, killing off villagers, killing off trade carts, and this is not looking good for their team. I've got to say, they are running out of units very quickly, and teal and orange are starting to push back in the center in this location right here. During the center, at the center even, red and yellow have been pushed back. Now teal and orange starting to push forwards as well. Even grey has a pretty decent army size now. He's continuing to push forwards with castles, building them right into purple's base. That's going to get very close to the trade, and Amazing Grace there saying GG. And I think that is pretty much it. Teal, orange, grey and blue will probably win this one. Yellow just resigning right now. Green just resigned. Red resigned, and there we go, purple to go as well. And really, it was just taken. I think that game was pretty much lost once their attack failed in the middle and they pushed them back. And once they lost a lot of units in the center, blue was able to get right in on the trade here and push them back and kill off a lot of trade carts as well, which really did hurt their eco. We'll have a look at the achievements to see just how many units killed, how many lost, who had the best trade and the like in a moment. Just have a quick look at the aftermath. Pretty much no man's land in the center right here, and these guys, wow, really fierce battling on the left. I'm really surprised that green and yellow managed to keep push them back even. Yellow was pretty much 2v1 the whole time. Same on the right hand side, grey and blue doing a great job of pushing purple back. They had a great start there as well, but just not enough to push them all the way through and break them early on. And pretty darn interesting game if you ask me. Yeah, 4v4 Goths, tiny map. Let's have a look at the achievements then. Okay, well, I'm going to skip over the overall scores and go straight to military. A lot of units killed and lost, I've got to say. If we look at grey right there, the leader on the units killed, 908 units killed. That is a hell of a lot. Red losing 904, which is still a lot. And green not really losing or killing that many due to the fact he had such a bad start, I've got to say. Teal, I thought he would have probably done a little bit more with his push on the left, but nevertheless, killing off a lot of buildings though, nevertheless. Green being pushed right back with all of those buildings that he lost at the start, pushed into that corner. That really disadvantaged the team. And let's have a look at the eco of these guys. The main one we should be looking at right here is gold collected, because they start with so much food, wood and stone anyway. But then again, stone is fairly important as well. But gold collected, well, red had a ton of gold, a ton of food, which means that he could have had the largest army if he could have got the numbers. Looking at the largest army, he only had 114, which was fourth even. It's a little bit disappointing considering how much food and gold he did manage to collect. Trade profit well in favour of purple here. I didn't think their team actually had such good trade at all. Tech wise, well, that doesn't matter, it's deathmatch. And villager high, 156 villagers for red. That's pretty impressive, I've got to say. Timeline, well, there was no real decisive winner at the end other than the fact that they lost their trade, so the timeline doesn't really tell us that much this game. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed this one. Pretty hectic, I've got to say. I've been Zach, and I'll see you next time.